Good
evening and welcome to the meeting of the Town Council, the Town Centre of Thatcham Town Council. This meeting is being recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. Good evening. I'd like to say ladies and gentlemen, but it seems we're all just gentlemen.
They should be on Zoom, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Good.
So we'll give her away.
Hey, good evening and welcome. Invite. Right, item 1 on the agenda, apologies for absence.
Just want to note, Chair, Councillor Val Watts, and we've got Councillor Jaylan on Zoom.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Stevenson is yet to arrive, but
So I was late for a meeting at West Berkshire this morning, and she was very nice to me. I was nice to her. Item 2, declarations of interest. Do any members have declarable interests in respect of any items? Item 3, minutes. 1, take as read and confirm with accurate minutes. Meeting held on the 18th of March. Are there any comments, questions, or observations? I have a proposal that they are a true records. Thank you. And is that seconded? Thank you. Those in favour? Any against? And 1 abstention. And item 3.2, Town Clerk, Labour Manager, provide people for the format as well as in previous meetings. And matter discussed under this item of noting only. Anything we would note. Okay, thank you very much. Right. Well, the need for meeting, I say with a straight face at 2 minutes past 7, is item 4, Thatcham Town Centre strategy. And I think at this moment,
you can. So I started on the 28th. Here's Jay, sorry, just a minute. Since I started on the 28th, I've started to file some short-term potential quick wins for us. Centre. Come up with a couple of ideas, which obviously I brought to you this evening, and open for discussion, really. We'll go through them briefly. They are sort of summarised near the end. Looking at much more appealing. As we east to west, as you go along the A4, not from around here, I don't think you would know much of the town centre there. So having a bit more of identity, a bit worn down, maybe some artworks, well considered contemporary artworks could be considered at the gateways to the town centre. Yes. So you've got Chapel Street and then up around by the beach, as you're coming from Newbury, east to west, west to east. Wayfinders, there's a lot of plaque signage within the town centre, which I have started to look into and report to the BBC to either be removed or renewed, shall we say. Accessibility is a big A4 Crowd Mead Gateway, as we know, is happening next month. And that will be discussed later date, maybe tomorrow evening briefly, but something that West Berks has already been approved, that will be continuing, and it'll be nice to sort of making our way towards the town centre on the back of that. So maybe a little bit of joint on thinking of West Berks on maybe some small games. The area around by the beach, don't we, heading in. Or it just looks like, I mean, don't know, I was thinking some sort of mural or artworks, maybe a monolith or for history of Thatcham, something to give us a bit of identity. There is a couple of little pictures at the bottom there. Locations, obviously, this is in its infancy, so this is just trying to gather some ideas, make it a bit more appealing, really. I mean, I can go through some of the points on that, but I mean, you put them all within your books. like to sort of open up really this evening to me, you working more on trying to get some of these off the list and add any more ideas really. So I don't know if you want to take a start, Chairman, or what your opinions?
I know that one of the things that I definitely want to do is get some of these quick wins in with along the wall on the inside of the A4 as you go. And I also do very much agree that the big area something done to it. But again, it's just one person's view, and other ideas are really warmly welcomed. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, I'm just wondering which brick wall could we allude to if possible?
Right, as you go from Park Lane to the into the Broadway, there is a brick wall that runs to run the Chinese and the Italian.
So has it got the fence on top of it? Is that the one?
Sorry,
Okay.
keep moving east.
Yeah, okay.
And
I'll get the
Above Bellaluna there.
yeah.
That's what the wall was.
Oh, there. Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Huh?
Potentially.
Oh, wow.
but these are literally just
No, that's-
ideas. That's
No, that's my question.
Sorry.
It just comes before, and there's 2 points to it. Firstly, I think it is that wall is in private ownership.
Can we?
I think the wall is in private ownership.
Probably.
And secondly, it has adverts on it for the shops in the high street. And thirdly, I would it's in a conservation area. Murals are not in keeping with the objectives of a conservation area. Fourthly, I would prefer it to be haunted rather than.
Okay. Can you check about the conservation area? Because I think the conservation area is the building on each side of the high street. That's going to be an absolutely essential thing, either that it is or it isn't. If you can find that out, certainly that would be appreciated.
I think David.
My apologies, David.
Yeah, play that eye on the shop, just the other side,
Declaration of interest.
demonstration of interest.
And let me know, please.
It's just that, we've already got a sign up for the shop. Yeah, not on that picture, it's not.
Well, I walk up and down there pretty well every day.
You've never seen it?
It's hard to I guess it's a bit lame.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, you're not looking at it.
So, but then I think it could be bounded up because there's lots of sharp boards.
Yeah.
A little bit untidy because they just sort of stick everywhere. Advertising maybe for in the area on the wall.
Certainly look into it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Simon alluded to, I'll have to find out the ownership and
Yeah,
that route, but
yeah, so we open the land.
certainly. Right, okay.
Who owned the office, maybe.
Right.
And certainly, I'm sorry, I did beg your pardon.
We'll go James first.
Well, there's some. I've had set up the building centre glass roofs. So why aren't they being replaced? People appreciate the rain weather coverage that they give, which leads on to the Waitrose building, which is, I'll put it politely as we're alive, we had done to it. I don't remember them ever cleaning it or painting it. So I think it's via chairman that we maybe would ask and is we actually have complaints from the members of the public. While at the same time, because I believe it's the same operator who would probably cover the Waitrose roofing as well, which is in a very poor state of repair. Going on to the artwork, as long as it's not graffiti like going back about 7 or 8 years ago, an officer who shall remain nameless and is no longer here thought it would be a clever idea to have a graffiti lessons on the Dunstan Green, and immediately we had springing up over, for example, the chapel. We had graffiti. So while I strongly welcome some kind of art, they've got in Newbury, in the people together, holding hands or something like this, just so that it is an example of what we were saying. We're also looking at our USP. I think having a green in this absolute centre of the town is a fantastic. Yeah, I think it there and we also have celebrate or statues for the like the VT. That's something we have a very proud. This village, 3 VC members out of maybe 1,000 people, if that. Something that we have got we call it links. The 2000 which does give the history. Something more. I think if you can put it on the it needs to be highly visible and fairly large. I'm just thinking, what's the artist who did the one in? Just an idea. And finally, we have got lots going for us. We've got the sporting facilities, the sports field, we've got the swimming pools, we've got the Discovery Centre, and a lot of things to be in Thatcham for. Here's the list.
We're trying to draw it back to the town centre. We're trying to direct people right or left.
Yeah, trying to make it more appealing, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, there's a town centre. I don't quite know who owns by the King's Head. Because they used to have, up until only a year ago, some sort of plumbing. Obviously, your house. They used to have like plumbing. That's gone. I don't know if that's because they've not been able to advertise or if the board. That's be a perfect one. This house on the side of Chapel Street. So obviously, there's land. The wall itself. So I'm thinking of middle ground, having actual same size boards because they're into certain places around it, and it's like size next size 2 sizes. Hence why some shops they're only allowed the same size thing outside their shop. It has to be the same. So totally agree with. You want to make sure you can advertise it. At the same time, the middle ground, we're putting something like Reading. I used to live in Reading. That one opposite the Oracle hasn't been damaged, to my knowledge, for absolutely 30 years since I used to live there. And every time I go into Reading, it's that beautiful cultural, the one that's right by the entrance to the Oracle, and it hasn't been touched. It's minimal, something like that.
I think probably best to take this away because I suspect that all of the firstly, I think most all of the locations that have been mentioned are in private ownership, and secondly, I think they're all in the conservation area. And that affects what is feasible to do. So, discussing things that we find are achievable, I would prefer to think the status of them before.
Yeah,
Yeah. To the chair, everybody. No, I absolutely profoundly disagree. I think that we are here to try to work out what we can do with our town, to make our town work the way we want it to. Frankly, issues like who owns this or who owns that, it's the same step. Once you decide what you want to do, when we worry about whether it's West Park, or whether it's the co-op, or whether it's, Waitrose is, etc., etc., etc. But the whole point about this is that we need to be trying to build a vision, and vision isn't going to be built by male councillors sitting here. It's going to be by having the people of Thatcham getting themselves involved again as they once were when we were trying to do the original plan for Thatcham, watched all those many, many years ago. So, I profoundly disagree with what you're saying. I don't think we want to start by finding out what the patchwork quilt of leadership is, and it's got this right, and that's got that right. Let's get a vision of what we're trying to do. That was the good bit about Hemingway. I know it was very small generally, but the good bit about Hemingway was he was doing that. He was saying, for the idea of trying to build long term, trying to include Fernfield space into part of what it was called such. One problem is that 20 years ago, when we were last in this kind of position, there was this vast amount of derelict land sitting beside south of the Waitrose, of Waitrose and Kingston Centre. That is now on McCarthy and Stone. There is no spare land. We're talking about two bits like that, but there is little actual land that we can play with. The next thing we've got to do is really start to work out how we're going to be discussing with what the realistic options are. And I think that comes after we send James off to go and decide this search. I've got no problem about finding out. It doesn't mean that but I don't think that's got to be the driver. I would go, and then we get to different places.
No, of course. So one thing I would like to do if possible is those like town centre information board. Eton Wick Council got a great example of it, Eton Wick. And it literally would tell you almost like a little map around Thatcham. If you go here, you go there, this is where this is. And it's like a little history, but at the same time it's up to date and current. And it's decent size. And it's something where people would walk up to it, they would see, and it's around the outside is the information in the middle of the map, like a UI here. And the other thing I did like was prints, lamppost artwork on the back, and lamppost flags. So you can update those every so many months. You can say, you got your coming up, you've got your Christmas coming up, you can actually do a lot. And they're really easy as long as people agree to it.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to do the mural. The artwork, what you want to put up there, something that says hello. I mean, they're all over the place. They get multicolored hippos, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, that's whatever catches the eye of the 90% of the people who drive to the town centre. So yeah, but those things are not cheap. Just to get your heads up on that. Definitely the flags, the signage and flags on street lights, street pole. That's something we should really. It's quite easy. They're multiple uses. Don't the festival. You put them up the week before the festival. You put them up to get Christmas. You don't get Kids' Day. Those are the things that we're trying to do. So it's like a using my brain. Why didn't we come up with it? So, that's why we employ officers to go out and say, yeah, and members running it. So I don't see that as a big financial expense to buy and to get set up. And I think it does nothing but add value to what we're currently doing. And it should be easy.
So that
short term.
I'm forgetting, I don't question. So you're suggesting that we actually make a resolution tonight to go ahead and get that, or do you think?
Well, we think that the officers are asked to go and go away and work it up, give us a cost, name scales, all this kind of stuff. When would it be? And then it'll just drop into a normal mix.
Can that be both the cost of the flags and the cost of changing them because it's working price?
Yeah. Sorry, very big.
It's absolutely something like a cherry picker on and off. Absolutely. And if you're doing, because if you're doing 5 events a year in the town centre, absolutely, we should be having that, and that's interchangeable. And I think visually,
yeah.
Just come up with a little idea. I've seen in other places where people can make some artwork, so we can have like sculptures, like bits or pigs or something like that, spread about the town centre, but they can be added before they go display for a little while, and then sell them off to a charity.
Like London, Bath, etc.
You maybe a pig or a cow or something. The local schools can do some artwork on it. You can place them in the town centre, on the green, on the roads round, and then after a period of time they can be auctioned off for a charity or something like that. We can get local artists involved as well.
Very interesting, but I'm not sure how this discussion is leading to a decision at this meeting. That's because we need to, if we're going to have a decision, we need to have a specific proposal. If not, it might be better to take these ideas away and develop them so that we do have a document for decision rather than a discussion of items.
Simon, I think that's what we are doing. I think that we're sort of ranking up the town centre committee again after a period of dormancy. And we now where we never had enough and appropriate staff to get on and do things, we've gone through all that process and we've actually increased the number and the skill sets for people and staff, and that's exactly what James has been employed to do. It's not part of the job to do.
I don't think this sort of discussion is committee business, really.
I think through you, Chair, I think what I'm trying to say is we've talked about this enough for the last year. Let's know some of these and actually bring it into the committee structures.
Yes.
The officers can go and work on the reports and back to committee, because this is a decision rather than because there's some things that we can go around at the same old stuff for another year, but there's things in here I would like officers not to waste their time on. It's probably just as important as the other side.
Ben next.
Yeah, so we'll just make sure we are talking a little bit louder, I think, for Day. She can probably give a thumbs up in a minute. But are we able to therefore propose that the officers go away to investigate the costings of the lamppost flags, and at a later date, at another meeting, they get FG, wherever, we then get it agreed. Once they've had a costings, they've done the project, they've done the proposal, we agree here to say we'd like the idea, run with it. As long as the costs expectations, I'm happy to second that proposal, propose it.
I've understood what Tom's saying. I've understood what Simon's saying. It's certainly in accordance with where the mind is to want an officer to have a direction plan on things to do. I don't want us to be doing any resolutions about, oh, we're going to go ahead with this, about or anything like that. I think we are talking about things at the moment and assessing where we're at.
We have on the report here given us the lamppost flags, so that's going ahead. We have my comments on the Kingsland Centre aesthetics. I think that comes firmly under there.
Yeah,
and we can tab on there. Wouldn't you like to put some flowers as well? You know, the officers to go out and indicate what they can, and to waitress. You know, well, I mean, they're long term. the Brownsville Road community hub, which I don't think should at the same time. It's on here. Indicating that you were saying about having a direction tied up with maybe, we do have a few, don't we? We have some well, the police stuff there. And so, but I agree strongly with Tom. Thank you very much indeed. I think that would send.
It was a lovely lady, basically.
Yes.
So on the wayfinders, looked at them, and I would have some specific proposals, but I'll put them in writing outside the meeting.
Fantastic. If I could help just on that one, Chair. We did discuss about the digitalisation of that information, which if we're going to use wayfinders, we could properly look at this sort of information being displayed digitally. That would allow us to update our programmes for the Christmas event coming up. Don't forget the market day, and we could again rolling it. So you're a couple of eggs, a couple of things in the same. They're not cheap. I think said a not expensive one was 5. 10 was normal. Thousands per thing. Yeah. But it's more usable, it's interchangeable. It's more to it. You know, you can even use it to turn around and say, look, this is what we did at Catch'em Fun Day. Don't book it areas in for next year. You know, there's lots of ways of digitalising that information, which I think is something would certainly help. But again, it's about working it out, bringing it out, start the process.
Isn't that we as a committee are hoping that we're going to be asking James to do and bring back, there is 3 months' time or something to look at. What I particularly mean by that is really positive in Spain, also new posts and finger posts and the existing phone posts actually pointing in the right direction to the railway station and so on. But that's one whole set of things. Simon and Jeremy, or was it just Jeremy? It has been mentioned that we will issue the Kingston Centre and at Waitrose. The Kingston Centre is owned by a company whose name completely escapes me at the moment. Evolve. And where we are, I have been promised that the last roof coming hasn't come back yet. I was also promised and was told confidentially
Chairman, we're told the video was being recorded.
I was told confidentially that Lodge should be moving over Lloyd's Pharmacy has been. That is actually underway, and I've been told confidentially that the large shop in the next door shop is going to be taken by another business. And since that's all now open, planning all of it, and planning information is there, and the notices are up in the windows, and the card shop have actually said in front of me that they are moving over the way. I think that particular piece of confidentiality that's an end. I was also told a couple of other things they are trying to get done with the redundant shops, and it's still confidential, so therefore I should not be talking about it. We have a relationship. We have a direct relationship with Evolve. We have actually got a person there that we can speak to. That the glass will be repaid. They are a business like any other business, and they spend money foolishly, as it were. They want to get some of these things done, and they intend to get the glass put back in, etc. So, and with Waitrose, they are the ground landlords for the site that Waitrose are on. You can find that Waitrose are responsible Or state everything's in, and we can speak to them directly. We have in the past.
I usually we ask the officers of the council to engage further with the current landowners to get some sort of timeline on when we're like.
Yes, I think
Would not be unreasonable.
yes, yes.
Then I'm sure everybody would be happy with the Waitrose car parking and
Centre, West Berkshire Council.
the Waitrose car parking. Lumps and bumps is a completely different scale and different issue, but I don't. Who do we talk? Who do we annoy about that? That's West Berkshire.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to annoy people from West Berkshire because
Conversation.
again, if we're going to, because it's all part of our. Can I just move slightly? I think you're right, and it's time we started bringing these things into committee through the normal mechanisms and processes of the. I would be a little bit concerned if we were to ask our officers to go away and look at how we can reduce the cost of car parking in the medium term. It's not within our remit. We have no influence over that. We can write a letter, but as far as I'm concerned. The long-term objectives, the first one, Brownfields Community Hub. I think there's some conversations going on around various parts of the district and within various parishes. So that's sort of work in progress and it is down the road. The latter one of these two on the long term, I think, is raised some eyebrows locally for the last 3 or 4 years. And we have not, I don't think we as a council have expressed a preference to go down this road. As far as I'm aware, I am only new to the council, and I would be reluctant to waste too much time of our officers investigating that sort of work. I'd rather they start at the short term stuff. Let's get these couple of bites of the cherry. Let's get the easy stuff done.
I think all the time it's that it is easy and relatively inexpensive. Let's go on and do it. But we've got to make decisions about what are we going to do with the Broadway, what we want to do with the Broadway. And some of it is town council, some of it is West Berkshire Council, and then as soon as you get into the Kingston Centre, fine, that's a separate business. And try to have and before still amount of space, which particularly productively used. I wouldn't have thought it particularly productive for the co-op, and it's very not productive for us. And getting something that is taking us somewhere there would, I think, be a pretty important goal. And
Just looking at the date of the next meeting is in February, and I'm just
Not now. That is 4 votes. So 4, 3 months. That's November. It's certainly this year. Okay. My diary, but it was normally 4.
okay.
Main committees, 4 cycles of 4.
And then no town centre.
I think it's mid-November.
It's November. It's mid-November.
mid-November.
It's hidden after the day of
Right.
the parade. Is there anything we can agree and get approved then that we can then have up
Running for the.
and running for Christmas? I'm just thinking that in that case, it's better than the February one because it means we can hopefully get something in by start of December or something. If we can get those quotes in, if we can then get some, and then by that date, you give us the quotes, we say proposed, seconded, and then we. So anything we can try and get you to do now, we can get it back by the 11th of November for our next meeting, and then.
Right. So
I'm thinking
what we're talking about
the small term things, the very quick wins.
and relatively
That's it. Nothing big term.
not expensive in terms of money for it. But in terms of public funding,
That's it.
I think it has to be within budget.
Yeah.
There needs to be an allocation process will not allow us to I don't think by November to actually reallocate the budget. This is already.
If I may, literally, obviously I agree with what you're going to say. Is that if we spend, you know, whether it's within budget or not, if we spend 25K on doing it, and in 18 months' time, this is demolished because we've decided
Yeah.
said and X is in the way, I don't think anybody in the town will be thanking us and we'll be walking around with fairly red faces. So my concern is to get some of these ideas together. When we talk about quick wins and inexpensive wins, I mean, we are talking about making a bit of nicer signage. We're talking about some of these signboards pointing in the right direction.
That's
Yeah.
exactly that.
Otherwise, Chairman, it would have to go through FNGP. And then the council or every house for GP just have some. I asked it.
Do you know if we've got at the moment?
I think so, but I will.
Yeah, go give it a look and give it yeah. Well, let at least Tom and me know.
Take for it.
Rent the place on the high street.
I suppose the next bit in the longer term picture. Most people will remember having the sessions where we had from the youngsters up from Kennett School. We had those sessions and meetings, which I know go right back to Henry. But that was one of the good things that did come out of it, was we actually got some ideas, people having views on things. Now, I would suggest that something like that is the kind of round table game where people can actually be coming up with ideas and seeing what kinds of things would gel with the public. Simon.
Thank you. So in terms of things that involve planning, then that is one of the purposes of a neighbourhood development plan. So thinking ahead, we need to, some of the specifics for the town centre, probably we dealt with distinctly, but things that are assets for the broader community. The purpose of the neighbourhood development plan is to involve the community. We don't want to too many different things and work out cross purposes. It was also the NDP. One of the things that the NDP can do in an annex is to suggest priorities for future sills, but much spending on sill can't be part of the plan itself because that's not. It is, I'm told, one way that you can sort of address those things within the context of the plan. So I'd say that we're going to be discussing how we set up our neighbourhood development plan. We need to integrate the two are complementary rather than duplicating.
Looking to cover the actual this evening, there's an issue on coaching the Kingsland Centre owners about having like a pop-up shop and stuff like that. Isolated please do not go down the road of trying to buy something. Local authorities owning shops have historically cost them a fortune in both keeping, maintaining, and even eventually getting rid of. So I'd be quite comfortable for us to but it'd be under sort of quite. For example, we would look to less and do it as like start-up pop-ups, like they're saying here, but it has to be business who's looking for a 6 months let, knowing that after 6 months they then have to find somewhere else to make space for the next person. It could be candle makers, it could be weaving baskets, but we're not worried. But the potential long-term costs, you and they ain't done nothing in this. So we would have to be comfortable with us entering into a starting conversation. So it might work. What would be the notice period? 3 months notice, 5 months notice, all this kind of stuff. Potential cost, because they're picking up empty business rates as well. So there's all kinds of. I'd be quite comfortable as to start that conversation. I think we'd have to be quite light on our feet on who we would actually especially if we're going to spend local money. I think we should be encouraging local businesses, one man banders, but one male or female banders.
Sole traders.
That's the word. Yeah. You have to be so careful about how you be politically correct. But I think you get the point. Single entrepreneurs, we'll call them. You know, and it might be somebody who does craft lessons. It could be reading lessons. It doesn't matter. But the idea is to start something which would enhance the community.
When did
I just make one point, and that is that the use of entrepreneur by Tom does show that the All Alliance remains in place. The French and the Scots, we just
No, mine's a very quick question. I had a feeling that Barron's shut, but I didn't realise it had until I read that. I didn't know.
Have we been told?
Not that I go in
officially? We all know it's shut.
Okay.
Whether they actually officially turned in the, I don't know whether they're paying the rent or not. That's between Evolve and then. So
premises occupied by multiple businesses is quite a complicated thing to manage and might require staff of the council as well. So we need to think more about it because there are a number of, we just got a parade and there's the other right down at the bottom end of the high street, of the Broadway, his name I can't remember. Muse. Yeah. And if we would go down this route, then having properties which can be a single person can take responsibility for might be a much better way forward than trying to set up a multiple thing. So don't,
don't let's solutionise.
Stocking's full of solutions.
I think it's one of the reasons that we were employing precision.
The meter a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the general idea is about how to do it, what the sort of yes. If you want to do it this year, you've got no chance because it's not going to be budgeted until 2026. Unless it starts bringing the group's ideas into committee.
Under 4.2 to consider any other matters relating to the town centre strategy. Is there anything else that anybody wants to say?
Say just to report that the local plan examination is coming to an end, thankfully. So that doesn't directly impact, but there is the ongoing question about where the location of the infrastructure, which will be required for those residents. And I think the expectation is that the education will be provided on this site. The care we think is going to be on that site. There is provision for community, and I have tried to encourage that to be not explicitly stated to be on site, so that if we wish to contribution to some larger facility for for example, that would be open to and be consistent with what the local plan says. It's the only element of the local plan that I would regard as being given to the centre committee because of that.
Good. Right, in that case, I suggest we move on to item 5. To consider public behaviour and safety in the town centre. 5 minutes before I arrived at the co-op the other day, I looked on my phone and there was shut because something, and I thought, in my leg or something. So I walked up there and it was done. And there was a hole in the glass. Looking into it overnight or something of the nature. And you've got uniformed staff in both town and in workplace, the security, and Lord knows what the cost of that is. And then the actual cost of the roofing and the coatings going in, and that's happening at a huge percentage. All the shopping. And the reason that I'll put this on the agenda is in every sense it's the town centre, and we've got any kinds of ideas of doing. I certainly want, as a result of item 6 on here, that we will go and specific with things like police, when we've got good relations with the community police anyway, but we need to get something going. But we've got to the stage where we've got a lot of the police department who travel through. And I'm not so aware of that happening now. Is it still happening?
Yes, they do, Chair. I can.
See them trolling behind here as well.
Yes.
You did push them very hard at the parish meeting. They didn't seem to respond.
Chair would have told the officers and one of the inspectors who was out at one of the events we were running. We've noticed it, we have seen it, and thank you. Let them know we're not.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. The biggest, well, I keep hearing from local residents is these people run around electric scooters. And I know there's nothing we can do. I get that, and the officers are, you know, the hands type with their hands. There's a national strategy towards dealing with that, and I guess we would have to take up with the police commissioner. But from my general feeling is the more people we can get into the town centre, the better it is, and it discourages that by default. And the more of a ghost town of an evening, it lends itself to that sort of.
Tom, very much agree with what you're saying. Very much agree with what you're saying. So,
Yeah, letters from me concerned, you know, but you historically, there used to be young people in their cars zooming around there. So we actually put like a barrier further along. Away. Then there's people who want to go around legitimate business, find a parking space or to pull up in front of somebody. So there's a, as I would call it, there's get some CCTV footing. Just maybe we'd publicise to. I mean, we've put these restrictions in with cooperation of the police on no drinking in the town centre.
yes, yes.
Unless anybody else hears about it, I don't hear. Should it being well lit, maybe the lighting, maybe line lights on the places like the Co-op. If they had cameras inside, I think somewhere bright. Well, it's a route we can go down. These evolved. CCTV, which we renewed, and considerable costs. I don't know, maybe rather than say CCTV is watching.
Yeah.
You know, we can find maybe the best lighting, CCTV with the police go on. I'm not sure whether they'll be trolling in the evening as much as I would like. Look, residents would have looked at their windows.
Yeah. Without saying the comment, I don't know.
I need to go down and make some.
Absolutely. I know they drive around about 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and sort of 6, and then about 10 at night.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's not every day at the same sort of time, but it's
You don't.
Yeah, so I think there's a number of different issues here. So there's a general young people hanging around, and part of the reason they hang around is that there are relatively few other places where they can hang around nowadays.
Yeah.
There's the when that spills into antisocial behaviour, and then there's the, shall I call it, opportunistic criminality. And thankfully, I don't think it's happened in Thatcham, but it has in other towns in West Berkshire. There's the professional criminality, attempting to do it as well, which but I think ram raid into digital. Okay, so and this is obviously a planned criminality. The last two were significantly addressed by the police because people will be very quick at what they do. But
If I can help someone.
yeah, but I think the point is really need to distinguish between those four, and I think one of the problems is that the boundary between hanging around and antisocial behaviour is subjective, and some residents might feel that hanging around, which is not, we have a public safety protection order there, hanging around which is not is still to be.
Just saying that, for example, the ram raiding. That's machine front of the court, and maybe should this was them. Just a simple point barrier,
And that would be attacked. I mean, I don't know for a reason.
what's the fact? It's free. That's idea.
Yeah, okay.
Like a report from the police, crimes are being committed in the town.
Not
So we get an idea of
some, but they always used to come in and have a chat.
who's been breaking co-op.
Encouraging a relationship with with the police, but
3 months or every 6 months to say, well, this has been happening.
Yeah.
Might be an idea.
The last, and I haven't been to it for some months, so my apologies. We have town councillors surgery, and there's normally, certainly through the summer months, there's certain police officers there, community, and
they usually try to come.
you know, and that's when we tend to get that informal information. Because quite frankly, if you wait for 3 months to get a report, it's being done and dusted, and they're in the queue to get a report by then. So I would suggest that we can do informal contacts, and that would help feed into what we're trying to do. As far as how do we make better behaviour? I mean, there's the built into the council. We show them what we do. How do we communicate to young people what we do in the town? We don't. Do we go to schools and say, "Hi, I'm a local councillor"? They are. They dang, you know. Do we ever do that rather than expecting us to turn and tell the kids they're always wrong?
Right,
What's just common as well.
It's a statistical term. I think that the young viewed the council is top decile, and the ones that we are here at the bottom decile. So I think that in practice would be very productive.
Yeah, but it's more of an inspiration rather than.
When you trying to get parents to come to encourage their reading in school, and you always, you know.
do you think we could this an airing and we got our heads sort of working in a direction?
That was my input.
Well, I mean, you have a rather unofficial chairman tonight, don't you? But
Chairmanship skills, I think.
relaxed chairmanship skills. Is there anything anybody else really wants to say? We bring the gavel down. Thanks so much indeed.
And